that it's all good, right? We're not indicting.
This is the ideal.
It's not exactly. That's the ideal. Exactly. Well said. Okay.
Okay. So tomorrow it's the same time?
With God's help.
Okay.
With God's help. Do you believe in angels? Oh. Do you believe in angels? You know, Friday nights we're sitting around the Shabbos table, and the first thing we do, Shalom Aleichem Malachei Yashahares. We're singing, and who are we singing to? To the angels, right? That we greet them. We greet the angels. We say Shalom Aleichem, peace be unto you. Then Boyachem, come in peace, be blessed, right? With peace. And then we say, Tzeichem Shalom, goodbye. Why do we say goodbye? We just greeted the angels that they should come and they should be participating. And all of a sudden, we say goodbye. Tzeichem Shalom. The last stanza, right, is goodbye. Huh? So what do we need angels for in any case? Who needs an angel? An angel is a messenger of God that helps us. What do we need to help Friday night? Because we came from a weekday that you're engaged in the world, and the world can sap you of your powers, of your godly powers. It can bring you down. It can be very easy. Worldliness, materiality, bring you down. So to cross the threshold into Shabbos, you need some help. So we have an angels. Angels help us to cross the threshold. So therefore we say, come and shalom, we greet them in peace, come in peace, be blessed in peace. But once we're in Shabbos mode, goodbye, angel. You have nothing to do with Shabbos. It's got to do between the Jew and God. Not even an angel is present. Yes, so not only we believe in angels, but we need their help. But we need to know that our power is infinitely more powerful and greater than any angel.
And that's any day.
Any day, any moment, every moment. Yeah. So do you have your lucky angel? Yeah, we have. We need to have. But we need to know that our power is infinitely greater because we're created in the image of God. We have a piece of God in us. While the angel is just a servant doing the service of God as God needs and chooses. Welcome to Tanya today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zichron Kedeshim in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We begin today the 12th letter. This letter will speak about tzedakah, about charity. Again, many of the letters are about charity. Different angles, every letter about the uniqueness of the mitzvah of tzedakah, of charity. But what we will focus on today is about angels. About angels. But before that.
Is it about with charity in a lute, because it's a lute? Or it just happens to be that way, how the author wrote
it happens divinely orchestrated. Not as it just you happened upon a chicken with its eggs, with its young. Not such a way. No, divinely orchestrated. But yes. So in Yeshayahu, in Isaiah, the verse says, and the reward for the act of tzedakah will be peace. And the reward for the service of tzedakah will be quietness and surety forever. So we need to appreciate the difference between what does it mean, the act of charity, and what does it mean, the service of charity. And why the different consequence that for the act of charity you get, for the act you get peace, and that will be the reward. And for the service of charity will be quietness and surety forever. What's the distinction? Okay, but we're going to leave that for now, and we're going to now go to a different idea. We all know the famous verse, Ose shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Right? What does that mean? What do those words mean? It means as follows. He who makes peace on high. Who makes peace on high? Who's making peace? God's making peace on high. Well, what do you need to make peace on high? You would think that there would be peace up there already. I mean, it's bad enough that we have war down here. Bad enough that we don't have peace down here. You have to make peace on high? What does that mean? How do you make peace on high? So that refers to the angels. The angel, Michael, in English, Michael. Michael is Sar Hayamin. He is the minister on the right side. The minister of chesed, of kindness. Then you have the Sar, the minister, the angel Gabriel. He is the minister on the left side, right? He is the minister of Gevura, of restraint. What is the metaphor that we use for kindness on the right side is water, right? Because kindness is something that comes from above to below, like water comes from a high point and it goes to the lowest point. Kindness needs to be that it goes and you give indiscriminately, meaning like water goes indiscriminately everywhere to the lowest point. So kindness is an act that you give without limitations, indiscriminately, right? To those who are at a low point. Now, who do you give? You give to someone who needs, is in a low place, right? And that's water. Gavriel, he is the embodiment of Gvura, which Gvura is from below to above. And that's the metaphor of fire. Fire rises from below upwards, right? Fire, you can see it the way it's flickering up, right? And what's the problem then between water and fire? They're constantly at battle with each other. Water wants to put out the fire, and the fire wants to evaporate the water. So, constant battle. Chesed wants always just to give, right? Gvura wants to hold and refrain and hold back. A constant battle between the two, right? So God has to make peace between them. He has to make peace between them, right? Because of the constant conflict between them. Right. Because they are contrary sentiments in their pristine state, and what they are opposite each other. So Shalom B'neim, Hashem makes peace between them. How does he make peace between them? He reveals a greater light that is beyond the two, that will incorporate the two, that they're not opposite to each other. That they're not opposite to each other. How does God do that? Well, God is infinite. They are finite, right? Kindness is a finite, limited expression of the divine, as Gvura, refrain, is also a finite, limited expression of the divine. But when you bring the infinite of the divine, as God encompasses the two, so therefore he's able to incorporate that the two are now able to work in unison and not in contradiction to each other. Right? Is that clear? So now the opposing attributes of Mechol and Gavriel, Chesed and Gvura, are absorbed in their source. Because in their source, they're really united as one. In their self-expression, they're completely opposite each other. But in their source, they're completely, truly unified because they're completely nullified in their source. A metaphor for this is you have two ministers that each one has opposing roles in the kingdom of the king. You have the minister of finance. What does he want to do? What does he want to do? Amass more money. You have the minister of agriculture. What does he want to do? Spend the money, right? He wants to spend the money in agriculture, right? That's what he wants to do. They don't like each other. Right? It's a metaphor, right? It could be that they like each other, but yeah, they don't like each other, right? That's what the metaphor is. Naturally, because they're in conflict with each other, right? When they stand before the king, the enmity is completely nullified. They're going to get along, right? Each one's going to think about themselves and their role, right? Which they should be, right? They should be thinking about what their role is and what they need to do, right? Yet there's something greater than their role, and that is standing before the king, that they're completely nullified, and therefore they get along. That's the metaphor, right? This then is, what does that mean on high? So Gvura wants to hold back. So the Gvura from above is therefore tempered and mellowed. It's sweetened by the kindnesses of Chesed. Right? What is that called? That's called Rachamim, compassion. Compassion is a mixture of both Chesed and Gevura. How so? Chesed means to give, kindness means to give, immaterial to whether you're deserving. It's my party, the drinks are on me, friend and foe. Drinks are on me. Yeah, you go to the bar, right? Friend and foe, right? Not like, the anti-Semite goes into the bar and he says, drinks are on me except for that Jew over there, right? And he smiles, he's laughing. And he's laughing, all right? Then finally, he says, a second round of drinks on me except for that Jew over there. And he's cracking a laugh. He turns to the bartender, well, why is he laughing? Well, that's Israel, it's his bar. So you just made him a nice fortune. Thank you. But we're not talking, yeah, right? But here we're talking, that's it, here. So kindness means giving with no parameters, right? It's not based on the person. It's based on my desire to give, right? So you're giving without boundaries. Gvura is the opposite. You're holding back. If you deserve, you get, right? If you work the hour, you get paid for the hour. You goofed off for the hour, you don't get. Chesed will, doesn't even look at that, right? Well, it doesn't look at that, right? What's compassion? Compassion is a mixture of the two. Because compassion means if I work the hour and I'm owed for the payment of the hour, can you give it to me out of compassion? That would be wrong. Don't give me, you owe it to me. I worked it. I deserve it. Not compassion. So compassion means there's a judgment made. You're not deserved, right? That's what, you're not deserved, but I'll give you anyways. That's compassion. That's mercy, right? You follow? So it's a mixture of the two. There's a judgment here. Chesed, there's no judgment because it's not about you. It's about my desire to give, right? You're the recipient. You're the recipient. You're the recipient. Right? It's without boundaries, right? That real concept of chesed, right? Kindness. You could have in kindness, you could have it limited a bit because you can have gvura in kindness, but the true concept of chesed itself, right? So compassion is a mixture of the two because a judgment's made. You're not deserving. But out of compassion, out of mercy, you give. So it mixes the two ideas together, right? That's why the Kabbalists called it Tiferet, beauty. Because what's beautiful? Chesed is one color. Gvura is one color. One color itself is not beautiful. When you have a mixture of colors and they coalesce beautifully and they combine nicely, that's called something beautiful, right? That's something beautiful when they come together. So Gvura is one color, Chesed is one color. Tiferes, beauty, compassion is a mixture of colors that come together, or here, two colors, right? That they come together and therefore that makes something beautiful. And that compassion is something beautiful, right? So this is what God encompasses the two, right? That infinite quality of the light of God that encompasses the two, Chesed and Gvura, that comes out of that is compassion. This is what means that God makes peace on high, right? Between the angel Mechol on the right, Chesed, and the angel Gavriel on the left of Gvura, that will be an expression of divine compassion. Okay? So we all got angels, right? We all got angels. And this is the angels on high. Any questions, comments? We're good? We're going to continue with this. We're in the middle of this. We're in the middle of a thought, but that's today's lesson. Tomorrow we will bring what does that mean as far as charity, being charitable, right? But we can see where we're going a bit with the idea of compassion. Yes, go ahead.
There's an angel for spirit.
The spheres?
Yeah.
No,
No.
because spheres are divine, angels are creations. They're creations, right? And the spheres, the divine attributes, they are God's divine attributes. They're not creations. They're emanations, but not creations, right? It's like what does God do? He creates. So he creates, a mouse, different types of mouse, right? And he creates angels, spiritual beings, right? But God's kindness is his self-expression in a definite, limited, and defined way of chesed versus gvura, for example, right? So it's not the same idea.
Would God be, I'm just using numbers, of course, but would he be like 50-50, or is he 100% Givua, 100% Chesed? God, is he?
He's got all 10 divine, he's got all 10 divine attributes that are one with him, right? So just as God is, and so likewise his kindness is. Is God acting kind only when, only when you got something, a candy thrown your way? How is God acting kind right now?
By giving us a shoe.
That's God or that's me? How's God acting kind this very moment? He's creating me right this very moment, something from nothing that's coming out of his kindness, right? Is God acting gvura right now? Is he? How so? Because if it wasn't for his attribute of gvura, of restraint, then I would just be a ray of light within the sun. I wouldn't have an independent the sense of independence or being a physical being that has a sense of independence. The only reason I have that is because his attribute of gevura, of contraction, is activated all the time. Just as God is, so is his attributes are every moment. Right? Are you always kind?
No.
No, none of us are always kind. Why? Because we're not truly one with our kindness, with our power of kindness. It's a power, it's a potential. I could realize it, but sometimes I'll be Gvurdik. I'm not going to be always this, because I'm a limited person. I'm not one with it. So it's not always going to be revealed. But God is one with his kindness, one with his Gvura. It always is. Okay? Got it? All right, folks. Rambam coming up. Thank you for joining. All right, folks.